Your Blaustoise? Yeah, he's, I don't know, Blau is his name? He was walking around with like a Blau sign, so I assumed he was a streamer. A Riot dev. Gotcha.
I can kind of talk to the extent that I knew about it a little bit, but I don't want to kind of go and, turn this into like a, continuation. But I can talk about kind of what happened. I guess the first thing I can talk about is the peer, which is the thing that I got mentioned with, which is I was starting my stream, was the beginning of my stream. I remember I was like, I don't know, like maybe an hour into my stream or something like that. I got a call from Emaru and I was like, what the fuck? And this was like the day after the peer thing had happened. And I saw that Mizkif had gone live earlier in the day. He almost never does that. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, maybe he went live to farm viewers and talk about this, right? But then she calls me and she's crying, and Ray and Senna and one of their managers is there too. And I'm talking to all four of them. And this is, I muted the stream. And this is why, by the way, I haven't reacted to any Miz clips in the last like 6 months. I haven't talked about Miz in the last 6 months. I haven't had anything to do with him like a year.
Ooh.
This is the reason. And so I scrolled past every clip. I haven't talked about anything. And so I call him the first time and it rings like 2 or 3 times. Nothing happens. Immediately, sorry, it hangs up. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I call again. Because like, sometimes like, oh, it's just a random call. But like usually if somebody calls you 2 times in a row, it's like, okay, this is serious, right? And so then I call him again. And the rings were like, there's like 3. And then the other one was like 7 or 8. So like, I don't know this happened, right? Obviously, I don't know this happened. But I think he either, like, I don't even know if he had the phone, right? But I think that whoever had the phone saw the call and chose to decline it. I think that's what happened. I don't know if that's what happened. So that's what I think. And so, but then I called him later on and he said he's freaking out. And I explained, I was like, okay, well, this is why, and this is what happened. And this is the reason. And, he's, fucking, obviously I knew more about this than he thought that I knew with this situation, because Amy had called me and I had to explain it to him, but like, I didn't want to involve myself in this either, because like, this is like, I knew she was like no contact with him. And at this point, pretty much everybody in the org, at least not everybody, but a lot of people were starting to like get this vibe with him. But, and this is also another thing, is that a lot of the people that have collaborated with Miz don't know anything about this. They didn't know anything about this. And it was explicitly hidden as much as possible in order to make sure that nobody knew about it in any capacity by them, because they didn't want any of this to get out at all. And so, just like I don't know. I'm not gonna get into the specifics, right? Hidden by who? Well, Miz and Emmy. I mean, Emmy was afraid that if the information got out, and Miz made her afraid if the information got out, that it would negatively affect Miz in multiple ways, and so he didn't want that to happen. That's more of their interpersonal stuff, and that's what she said on stream, and so I'm not going to elaborate beyond that. There is, of course, elaboration, but there's, as I said, I'm not going to, this isn't like an encore where I'm going to like further explain why she did or didn't do something, because it's just that, as I said, I said at the beginning, right, I said it, a while ago, it's like, it will be bad, and it's not my story to tell, and I think you guys can see why now. I apologize for 2 things, for vague posting about it and saying that. And I also apologize for platforming him, right? I mean, the truth is I couldn't have known, I didn't know any of this whenever I met him.